Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging race. We're here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit today, located in the heart of Singapore. The circuit consists of 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right. It's a track that's incredibly technical, so don't expect to see the drivers taking too much of it at full throttle. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Sainz, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Ocon, Gasly, Joe, and Alex Albon, Magnussen, Perez, Sebastian Vettel, and Ricciardo. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Phoenix, Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, and Fernando Alonso, Mick Schumacher, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Let's start by looking at Fernando Alonso. That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. That may or may not play into some of the team's hands in today's race. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations. And it's lights out, away we go. Lando Norris does get away very well. Brilliant start then for Charles Leclerc. Sainz, but it's Leclerc on the inside ahead. Sainz with Ricciardo coming up alongside him. He's really going for it with Hamilton. Carlos Sainz almost gets a little bit squirrely coming out of turn 3.
Hamilton's going to be under pressure with the sheer speed of the Ferrari through the flat kink of turn 6 into the braking tone of turn 7. And he goes to the inside, he covers the apex of the corner, critical for Hamilton.
The Ferrari speed is giving Lewis Hamilton a lot to think of. Hamilton defending for all his life on this opening lap. Then Verstappen, Hetson, Alex Albon as well. Look at that. Charles Leclerc flying out in front. You can't restrain him here in Singapore tonight. Max Verstappen a long way from thinking about how to celebrate a second world title. To give it some more thought, he goes down the inside and he finds himself ahead of Pierre Gasly. Extra pace, accelerating into turn 1. Max Verstappen, is he past George Russell? George Russell squeezes through on the inside. Verstappen tries to fight him back. Now into turn 3. Russell ahead by half a car length. Going round the outside of turn 3. Verstappen leaves the track. Russell still ahead on the run down into turn 4. We've not seen too much between these two in terms of attack and defence before, but I am one that wants to see much more. Rear press going into the turn 9 hairpin. Oh, and there Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton almost coming together. Hamilton has to go off the track. Fans roaring in the background. Lewis Hamilton in the lead, but will he have to give out the place?
Yes, of course he will.
Yes, he gave that back.
No investigation necessary, say the stewards.
The door's open, he's gone through it. He's kept completely within the white lines. and a car that was side by side with him is heading off down the road. I'll stand by that, but that's not what the stewards think.
Williams driver Alex Albon, and the guy who got him this year's Williams drive, George Russell.
They're going for it. Max Verstappen on the inside has got Charles Leclerc. Leclerc goes for the old switcheroo, forces Verstappen to go a bit wide on the exit, and then he is through on the inside to retake the lead of this race. Charles Leclerc back in front of Max Verstappen. But Verstappen going, and they're still going wheel to wheel. Thought he got the move done. Verstappen's having none of it. Might have to yield here, and he does. And Max might not have much at his disposal, but what he does have, he's used to great effect.
Brilliant. Look at this, top four then, almost nose to tail.
Leclerc is right on his tail now and almost shoving him around the corners as they go over the Anderson Bridge. This is where Massa got past Senna a few years ago. This time Leclerc does the old switcheroo, and a very, very nice exit indeed as he makes his way onto the Esplanade, puts Charles Leclerc ahead. Max Verstappen locking up his brakes, and Max Verstappen goes straight on, manages to stop in time, spins the car around 180 degrees, and rejoins the race. Verstappen went for it, but were those tyres and brakes too cold to make such a bold move?
I completely bottomed out.
Mate 20 metres behind him, and his teammate is not going to be 20 metres behind for long. And oh dear, George Russell nearly ran straight into the back of his teammate before he manages to react at the very last moment. That wasn't team orders. Well, Hamilton should get DRS as well. He's making a move to try and break the toe of George Russell. Russell wants to go the long way round here at the outside of the hairpin. This is a great battle between the two Mercedes drivers. Down the inside, has to lock up. Verstappen goes through on Hamilton. Verstappen just bided his time a little bit. Lando Norris rounds the final corner. He sees his team cheering on the right-hand side. He sees the checkered flag, and he wins.
Oh, baby, oh my God. Oh. Yes.
Absolutely outstanding.
What a great race it's been then. Another classic Singapore Grand Prix. And they've held on to take the checkered flag here today. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out of the track was. Speed. It sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight. So let's review the drivers' standings. And with today's impressive result, Charles Leclerc steps into the championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
I have to give it to Phoenix. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.